I'm curious to know, of the people that bitched and complained about my changes to sniping in the prior video, how many of you are actually watching this video to see the positive changes that I plan on making? I'm curious because, as I said, sniping is so polarizing that people instantly ignore what someone has to say if they don't agree with that motherfucker. In any event, my last video, I all but killed off how quickscoping would work, and I really gimped down the guns. But this video is how to build the motherfuckers up again. And just like the first video, we have some more footage from friends playing the game. I still provided some more gameplay footage, and I also have some old-ass footage from Hatred in which I make a cameo appearance in this motherfucker. This is like from like over a year ago, some shit. And it's funny because I believe he submitted this gameplay for a Hipfire commentary video before, if I'm not mistaken, and he complained in that video that I didn't talk about his amazing sniping game. So I'm using it a second time, and I'm still not going to mention anything about his sniping gameplay in this video. Sucks for you, Hatred. Anyway, one of the additions that I was making was major gun sway to all the guns in the game, not just the sniper rifles, but to assist in gun sway, I would add the bipod attachment for sniper rifles, similar to what I would be doing for the LMGs that I mentioned in a prior video as well. If you were to take standing or kneeling cover next to an object, a box, a window, a wall, whatever the fuck it is, the bipod will reduce the gun sway significantly. Also, if you go fully prone, the gun sway will be removed completely, since you will be in a steadier but more vulnerable position. But if you just have that attachment equipped and you're just randomly standing or running around the motherfucker, no, it's not going to help you. It only helps when you're in cover with something the bipod can actually sit on and attach itself to. And with the bipod being used, you would be considered actively engaged in sniping, so the lens cap thing would not snap close back onto the scope. But as soon as you get out and reposition yourself, find a new location for your sniper rifle, the lens cap will snap back into position like I mentioned on the sniper scope. As for gun attachments, I would most likely have to eliminate the ACOG scope because it just doesn't make sense that only one gun would have a lens cap on an ACOG while the others are not affected by it. And without the lens, people would just bypass the issue of quickscoping that I'm trying to fix. So the ACOG scope would be an unfortunate casualty as an attachment. The variable zoom scope is fine. The bipod, as I mentioned, will be added along with FMJ bullets and extended mags. And also, with other guns, I wouldn't add any side effects to any attachments when you equip them, sort of how we have in Black Ops 2. And as I mentioned in a prior video on gun attachments, there's really no need for the thermal scopes. It's not necessary in the game, so I wouldn't bring that motherfucker back. Now, I've never been a fan of silencers, suppressors on sniper rifles, but I have no reason to remove it other than some models do not use the silencer. I'd bring back silencers, although I'd have to consider which models they belong on, because some guns just don't use the silencer at all. But the biggest improvement that I would make would be major increases to the damage where virtually every shot is a one-hit kill, even down to the pea-shooting sniper rifles, although I really do want some harder-hitting sniper rifles in this fucking game. The most powerful weapons would be one-hit kills no matter what, even in the fucking foot. If the 50 cal hits you, you're dead. That's it, plain and simple. Even if it blows off your pinky toe, it needs the benefit of the doubt for a kill with this new system that I'm adding. Other more powerful weapons could be one-hit kills and anything above the ankles or the knee. You know, basically anything that fucking hits you in a good spot. And it has to be something with a decent, powerful gun, like a 338 Magnum bullet or something. That's a powerful motherfucker. If that hits you, you're gonna be hurting this bitch. And then finally get down to the pellet shooting rifles and shit like that, where anything above the waist should be a one-hit kill. You know, right now, low-powered guns are usually two-hit kills in anything below the chest level and whatnot. Some really underpowered guns, you can only get a one-hit kill with a goddamn headshot. So due to the changes that I made in the prior video, I would be a little bit more lenient towards the damage guns should be doing to enemies. I know shooting someone in the foot or the pinky toe isn't a guaranteed kill, but given how the other changes have been made to sniping, giving them a damage boost is the only way to balance out some of those effects. And in the worst case scenario, let's just say this damage increase throws off the balance. Rolling back damage is not hard to do to balance the motherfucker. You know, if sniping dominated gameplay, although I really don't think it would dominate this gameplay with this change that I would make, cutting back on the damage is always a possibility. So just adding the increase in damage and increase where you can actually kill someone with a one-hit kill, that would probably be the balance to losing out on the fast speed sniping has right now in Call of Duty, which, as I've said, is unrealistic. Now, in terms of what actual guns to bring, there are a shitload of sniper rifle models out there, and like I said in the gun video, the actual models will probably be irrelevant outside of a Barrett model. I would stick to the standard 4 to 6 sniper rifles in the game, which seems to be the accepted amount for almost every Call of Duty game. You know, you need a good mix of bolt action to semi-auto rifles and shit like that. And personally, I don't want water guns in my goddamn sniper rifles. I do want powerful hitting weapons that earn their one-hit kill status. Now, one change I would make, though, is I want to flip the reserve ammo issue the game has right now. Usually, bolt action rifles have less spare ammo than the semi-automatic rifles. The Intervention had less ammo than the WA-2000, or the MSR had less than the RSASS, and that is mainly due to the damage differences that bolt action rifles can do. I would actually flip that. Bolt actions would get slightly more reserve ammo, while semi-automatic rifles will probably get one less magazine of rounds. In other words, spray and pray snipers need more accuracy since they're going to have less spare bullets. Your bullets do enough damage to get those one-hit kills now, so now it's a matter of you managing those bullets as opposed to just spamming the shit out of the M21 all over the place, hoping some unlucky motherfucker walks into your stream of bullets. I want accuracy to take precedent in this game, not just bullet spamming all over the place. Now, aside from the FMJ attachments, I would also want each bullet type of every gun to determine the penetration rating the gun has. Let's go back to the 50 cal for a second. The bullet's fucking enormous. It's like the size of a small child. It's gonna pretty much pierce anything it hits, even without FMJ. I would want the bullet to be able to bust through light walls and even more people for higher collateral damages and shit like that at a better rate than, say, an M21. FMJ would obviously help an M21, but the base penetration damage of the 50 cal should be much more significant than that of smaller guns with smaller bullets. If a bullet can pierce a tank, it can damn sure get a triple collateral with ease. I want the base rating of penetration without FMJ to match the bullet type each gun uses. Another addition, headshots will reward more points or medals or challenges or whatever the fuck it is. You know, you shoot someone for a kill, it should be 100 points. Bust the motherfucker's head off, now we're talking 150, and I believe Black Ops 2 does something similar to that by rewarding extra points or whatever the fuck it is. You know, reward accuracy. That's the goal. Not missing a shot on the target, that will also add to your magic point total somewhat. You know, how many times do people fire at someone and they miss them? Maybe the second shot gets them, maybe the third shot gets them, or in my case, the 10th. Firing your weapon and hitting your intended target with the first shot will add more points to your total somewhere, whether it's the in-game score, your end-of-the-game XP. Somehow, you will benefit from not missing shots. I want accuracy to be rewarded in this game for sniping. I also want to include a bullet streak system where killing targets in a row without missing multiplies your end-game total. Not your in-game total, but your end-game total. It's like that in-game challenge of hitting someone with every bullet in the clip and then you get that challenge complete or whatever the fuck it is. Only now, it works as a streak system. Again, accuracy should be celebrated when it comes to the sniper rifles. Anything that rewards accurate players should be added to this game. Things that just allow you to continuously shoot bullets and doesn't reward any kind of accuracy or gives you no penalty, that's the kind of shit we need to eliminate. Bad snipers will not get those point increases. Good snipers who have excellent aim and quick reactions, they're going to be the ones rewarded with the extra points. Now, the final item that I would absolutely need rounds of testing on to see if it's viable or not is something you can only have in a video game. Kill cams are video game items, so I debated about an idea of having some gun attachments to sniper rifles that could potentially disable kill cams. In other words, your enemy that you kill will not see where you killed them from. And again, this would be a gun attachment, but I'm not sure if this would overly promote camping or even glitching, you know, getting into spots you shouldn't belong in this motherfucker. Plus, hardcore players wouldn't have a use for this item since obviously kill cams are disabled in hardcore modes anyway. So this would really be a limited use item. The idea behind this was for a mobile sniper that wants to blend into the shadows or something. Someone found an amazing sniper perch defending an objective or a choke point, and he doesn't want to lose that one tactical advantage he has. Or he found a spot, and in the kill cam, you can actually see him running towards the next spot. I don't want enemies to know where that sniper is going. It's fine if they're on the move and whatnot, but I can already see this being abused if people are sitting in a corner, playing in a glitch spot, so I already know that there would be problems with something like this. And again, this is something that needs testing. You know, I'm not Infinity Ward, where I just throw anything in the game and say, hey, you guys test this out after spending $60 on the fucking game. You know what I'm talking about? I would like to see it in action first and see if it's viable, and if it is, add it. But if it's abused or it doesn't work in any way, no way. I do not want to add the shit. But again, that's what I said all along from the beginning. Call of Duty needs a testing and public beta for this shit. So this is one of those items I would want in a public beta. If it works, cool. If not, get rid of it. Now, I know there are players who listened to the prior video and they had smoke coming out of their ears, or people that just didn't want to listen. They just said fuck you immediately because they enjoy arcade shooting. Again, they were probably screaming in text. But this is just the reality of any game. You know, what military shooter video game would allow 6 snipers to beat 6 SMG players in a game type similar to Headquarters? What video game allows snipers to act like shotguns? Call of Duty is the only one. There is no denying that sniper rifles are out of sync with the other guns. They clearly do not behave like their real-life counterparts, just from a mechanics standpoint, let alone video game bullshit. Now, I already know what the most common complaints over the changes I would make, so I might as well address these now. One legitimate complaint that people will have over these changes is that this is going to promote camping and possibly objective game modes with people ignoring objectives due to the slowed down version of sniping and shit like that. Now, here's the reality. Sniping has always been a specialty in the military. Snipers have always played support roles as opposed to being frontline fighters. The majority of militarized forces are ground troops with rifles and machine guns. Snipers are not your frontline fighter, but for some reason, Call of Duty created and allowed this environment for all these fucking years. And like I said in the maps video, there has to be spaces fair to all players and all weapons. Sniper alleys and sniper nests are a must-have. places that allows the sniper to see an entire map and not just a small section of a map. Think of that center building on Overgrown where you can see the entire map. Think of that sniper perch we had on that map in World at War. I forgot the motherfucking name of it, but it was like a clock tower all the way at the top of the map. Things like that where you're allowed to see the entire map from one spot. Sniping has an inherent element of camping involved. There's no denying this. There's no way around that subject. However, you can still be a mobile sniper. You can still move from location to location, get your kills, but while you're on the move, you will most likely need to depend on your secondary weapon for any up-close encounters. If a real-world sniper is in a location and realizes enemies are coming up on his position, he's not going to use a Dragunov for up-close protection. He's going to switch out to his secondary weapon and take out any enemies that come up close. That's the logic I'm trying to build here. Sniping isn't a fast-paced, up-close and personal gun style. It needs to have significant advantages at ranged fighting, and it needs to have significant disadvantages at close quarters fighting, and by slowing down the aiming mechanism, it brings it more in line with how sniping actually works. Objective games that require people to move are always a challenge for snipers. I mean, how do they capture headquarters? How do they play sabotage? You know what I'm talking about? Again, this goes back to the concept of what a sniper actually is, a supporting character. If a competent player understands his role, he will know that to cap a flag, he will need to rely on his secondary weapon to run into the action. But defending a territory is just as much a part of playing the objective as anything. I mean, hell, defending a contested flag is definitely playing the objective, and also it strikes fear in the opposing team that a sniper has the position on lockdown. Let's say you have the B flag, and your team sniper has a beat on that flag, and the dude can actually hit his shots, not like me. You have a damn good objective protector on your team. Search and destroy should work as intended. One bullet, and you can kill an enemy at any distance to start the match. But the closer the enemy gets, the more advantages will fall their way if they have a fully automatic weapon. Now, another major complaint is that these changes make the game too much like Battlefield. You know, it's funny because when I complain about Battlefield, the most common thing people will say is, "This isn't Call of Duty, asshole." Here's the reality. Games take ideas and copy from one another all the time. Battlefield has copied parts of Call of Duty, so has Crysis, Resistance, Gears of War, you name it. And Call of Duty has copied from other games. You see elements of Halo, Killzone, Splinter Cell, Rainbow Six in Call of Duty games. The fact is, there is always overlap. There is always inspiration for other games. Call of Duty will never feel like Battlefield. It has always been a much faster paced game than Battlefield, but that doesn't mean it needs to be unrealistic. Sniping in Call of Duty is beyond unrealistic, and as I said in the beginning, this isn't a war simulator, but at the very least, the sniper rifle needs to have some resemblance in real life. Some elements from Battlefield add that, so yes, taking inspiration from Battlefield will help sniping in Call of Duty, but obviously, I'm not adding earth rotation and shit, wind effects, 3-mile long maps to Call of Duty. No. Those can be real-world effects that Battlefield games have, but I'm getting away from the arcade shootout mentality that sniper rifles have. I mean, let's get real. Sniping hasn't changed going all the way back to Call of Duty 2 in 2006. Come on, 7 fucking years in a new console generation and this shit still hasn't changed? And you people want to defend that bullshit? Give me a break, man. Now, as far as the skills comment, oh, you can't quickscope. Oh, you're making this game a new game. Oh, quickscoping's for assholes. You know, the funny thing is I could flip this comment around and say, you know what? If you knew how to actually snipe, then these changes wouldn't affect you now, would it? Think about it. If you're so accurate quickscoping and you're so great at it, in theory, these changes should not affect your aim. The slowing down of sniping shouldn't affect how accurate your shots are. The fact is, nothing in these videos have discussed skill. Nothing. My arguments have been solely based on what sniper rifles have been doing compared to their real-life counterpart. Not one mention of skill has occurred in any one of these two videos. Not one argument over how hard or how easy it is to quickscope has been mentioned. And the fact that kids revert to a skills argument shows that you have absolutely no fucking response to the realism issue. You can talk all the skill in the world when it comes to quickscoping because it has no weight or bearing on my argument that the guns act unrealistic. Sniper rifles are not shotguns, they're not assault rifles, and they should have a disadvantage when it comes to other weapons specialty playstyle, which is usually close quarters fighting. Call of Duty sniper rifles act nothing like their real life counterpart. Skill is irrelevant when it comes to the realism argument. Over time, anybody can learn and improve on how to quickscope and trick shot. That doesn't mean that's what the purpose of the gun is. You can easily dedicate hours at a time to learning something, but my argument has nothing to do with skill level, it has to do with game mechanics. And this is why in a future video I will talk about the arcade league, because all players who choose to use sniper rifles like a toy Nerf gun and shit, they can continue their playstyle and argue over quickscoping skill in that game mode. But for the regular game mode, reality has to kick in. Quickscoping is not sniping. It's not what the gun is meant to do. It's not how the guns are properly used. It's a one-dimensional way of playing a video game by exploiting gun mechanics. That's it. Anyways, I said at the start of this video, but sniping is by far the most polarizing part of Call of Duty. And I'm pretty sure these two videos will receive the most flack compared to all the others in the BluePrint series. You know, either way, it's something that'll either probably never be fixed because Infinity Ward and Treyarch don't have the balls to actually make changes to their game, or Activision is far too cheap to provide them with an actual new engine as opposed to just letting them continue to upgrade the shit what they have and calling it new. Anyway, as always, rate, comment, subscribe, and all that good shit, and I'll see you guys in the next BluePrint video.